People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good evening, and I hope you're all well and safe, and I'd like to extend that also to your families, as we're obviously, the world is facing the corona epidemic. It's actually the point of this vid. As you lot know, corona is gripping the nation, football mirrors society, and you know, Arteta was the first manager in the Premier League to contract it. Obviously, we'll never know how he actually contracted the virus. There's a lot of rumours based off the fact that the Olympiacos owner confirmed had it and was at the Emirates. We'll never truly know. The most important thing is that he's still alive, he's got his health, he's recovered, and my condolences to everybody who, you know, you can't say the same about, but he's recovered, you know, he's self-isolating, he's recovered, his family's alright, his kids are fine, his nannies, the nannies of the kids are fine, as well, people, so you can't complain. Obviously in this day and age as well, you have to big up the NHS. It's always been, what's the right word, underfunded, and people can comprehend what they do, but it's only times like this that, you know, you're seeing people that are of retirement age come out, people young risking their lives, midwife, nursing students. It's at its knees, people, really and truly. It needs serious investment. Could you imagine if we had to pay for this? Like, actually had to pay for it other than taxes and things like that, people. It's sad. But the good news is Arteta is back. Happy birthday, Arteta, as well. It's his birthday today, ironically. And via Arsenal, in some capacity, he's spoken a lot. I'd implore you to go and check it out for yourself. But the relevant bits from it, we'll speak about, or the bits I took from it, better yet. First and foremost, his opening statement was, "We are living in a unique situation, so I think all of us are trying to react to the situation that is coming on a daily basis and trying our best to overcome the situation. First of all, I would like to send a message to all the people who have lost their loved ones, those who are suffering in hospitals and having difficult moments and are sick. We have massive gratitude to everyone who is involved in healthcare, in hospitals, people in services, people trying to provide food, transportation, and everything that is so relevant to us. And, pardon me, and please to everybody who are a little bit behind other countries. For example, Spain, where I know the situation they are living at the moment. And while we are having the opportunity a bit to minimize the risk, I encourage everyone to please be responsible and stay at home as much as possible. This is all we can do from our position." And he went on to kind of say the same, people. And like I said, big up the NHS, big up everybody involved in that. Condolences where appropriate. Moving on, he was asked what isolation meant for him and what precautions did he have to take. Our manager said, "All that I could do, set up a room and a bathroom, and I was there by myself for 2 or 3 days. But after the second day, my missus started to feel some symptoms as well. It was probably too late because by the time that the symptoms arose, the virus was already contagious to other people, so we could not prevent it in our home. I think it was too late by the time we had the positive tests as well. We were reacting, and now that's why And that's why I insist that instead of reacting, you have the chance now to stay at home and prevent a lot of situations. We have to do it." And I need to make this slightly larger or cop some glasses because I cannot read, people, and I'm sounding dyslexic. Apologies if you are. But Arteta said it himself. He had to isolate. Obviously, it's nice that in a following statement, he said his kids didn't have it. It was already too late. You know, I don't want to say unknown because I've seen some stuff online from research that corona's a new virus, but it has been around. There's been other cases. But to me, a novice that's got nothing to do with that stuff, it appeared a new virus. So as a nation, we're reacting to it. Almost like football. I was waiting for the word where he would say proactive, people there, really, really and truly, because he was reactive. He had to be reactive. He didn't know about the virus. It's already too late. It was just about minimizing the risk and attempting to damage limitation. But the main thing is that he followed the precautions and he's fit again. In health, I mean. He said, "With everyone now at home following those strict government guidelines, how is the club operating now? Well, I'm really impressed and I feel proud of where I am. In difficult moments is where you really see the people and how they react, how they think and how they prioritize things. All the phone calls I'm having with all the members of the board and all my technical staff, all the coaching staff, all the players, how aware and how encouraged they all are to try to help, to try to be on board with the situation and to try to make things easier for the club has been amazing. to be fair, I have to say that I am privileged to work with these people, and that's what you want to hear about Arsenal, man. It makes me proud when I hear individuals are doing things like that. It makes me proud when you see, obviously I'm not happy with the world's landscape at the moment, but you seeing what Arsenal is doing, you know, making vehicles available to NHS parties, resources, funding, the rest of it. Not just Arsenal. Almost every club has got some sort of scheme. If not the club, you've got the players doing something, or something's happening, and we've got to pull together. At the same time, you have to be selfish in that isolate yourself, think of your health first, but at the same time helping others. But we've got to be selfless. If we can help someone where we can, and it, you know, and we're able to do it, why not? It costs nothing to be a nice person, and especially times like this, I don't necessarily believe in karma, but what you do to other people will come back to you. I really believe that sort of stuff. You know, not karma necessarily, but we're moving on to other stuff, people. He was pressed on what communication is in his job and what communication means, and obviously the landscape of a football manager, he needs to be in constant communication with players via whether it's players, staff of different levels, and you know, all sorts of other stuff across different mediums. So communication is key. But knowing Arteta from being our manager, I don't think this corona thing stopped him. I think he was in his sick bed looking at targets and looking at tactics and players positioning and heat maps and these things. But him himself said there are different aspects that we have to try to maintain. One is health, and that's the most important one for sure. We are just trying to cover all the necessities that players, staff and employees need to try to sustain the club with healthy people. That's the first one, and that's our responsibility. The second is the physical aspect. They all have programs and they all have individual work to do that they are really doing and really trying to maintain themselves so that they can prepare themselves for when we have to get back to playing. The third one is the mind. There is a psychological support that they need, which we are giving them, as well as I'm giving them a lot of homework to do, because I've been reviewing everything they've been doing since I joined. There are things we have to maintain doing and improve, develop, and individually they are really enjoying the challenge. We might get a few coaches after this virus, or at least a few players that are willing to go down that path, because I think they are really enjoying the process. So that, what does that mean, people? That's a bit coy on stuff. That either means, you know, when you look at David Luiz, for example, who I should speak about in depth in another vid, who's getting on a bit, and I was actually ironically reading something and listened to Callum Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek, and they were speaking about how David Luiz could be a coach, how he's spoken indirectly about the possibility of that. When you consider that he might extend his deal, you know, he's cool with Arteta. You know, something tells me Luiz will go back to his homeland to do this coaching thing, but for example, but you never know. If you could cozy with Arteta and get a job for yourself in some capacity, obviously with experience, you could have a coach for life, because obviously coaches change their coaching stuff, but on a regular basis, when a manager moves around, it's the same people he moves with, it's the same assistant. Like Emre got sacked the other day, he's going to move with the same man that didn't lose their jobs at Arsenal. Do you get? Obviously coaches, because Arteta's been vocal on the need for coaches and bringing in coaching, and I don't know how depleted this virus might do for us, might do in terms of the numbers or when everybody's recovering, but not just the players. We might be down to the bare bones and stuff, people, because of course, well, they've all probably self-isolated at the same period now, but I'm sure one player might not have been in on a Monday, the guy was in on a Friday. They've got to isolate themselves at different routes. And I mean, it's not a blessing with this thing that's happening, but Arteta, when you're a manager and there's a million things to do, how much can you do them to the best of your ability? If you've got to do a tactics here, a review here, you know, travel arrangements here, transfers here, how well can you dedicate all of yourselves? Because think about how busy you lot's lives are. How much can you do everything and get nothing done? So with this in mind, with being isolated and having time to somewhat breathe and do stuff, you know, he might look at the first couple of games he's been in charge and quantify for himself where the team started and where the season was postponed, where it finished, and look what he can improve, what he could have done better, how he can coach better, how he can get his message better. And obviously the players, who's improved. I set him this task in a match, he was shaky, but now he's improved, or he stopped doing it, boom, or, you know, Aubameyang, you need to make this run when the defenders are there, or Martinelli do this, or Saka that, or Bellerin this. It's lovely to see the manager's got time to do that, and it's lovely to see that he was doing that. I genuinely believe Arteta, regardless of how he's been feeling, has been sat there with the laptop doing this regardless. Obviously for the players as well, it's a serious psychological thing, because it's like with everyone, even myself. You're confined to your room. Obviously, you can go shop, can get a bit of water and stuff, and do all these sort of stuff, but you're in your yard. Certain people don't cope with that. There's a saying I once heard: a lot of problems with wars and stuff has come from men's inability to just sit in a room and be bored. Idle hands are problems, and it can be depending on how you are as a person. I'm sure the players are using it to, they might want to learn. They've always got a lot of free time, so players can hold it, but they might learn languages, new skills. You're seeing all the tricks they're doing, play PlayStation, just to be and speak with people, play PlayStation with each other and all of these things. But it can be a lonely place. Certain people are not as strong, and this goes for society. Certain people are not as strong as other people. Certain people relish this isolation. Certain people can't cope with not speaking to no one. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are designed to be together and be humans. We're not designed to be lonely, but we've got to look after our players, especially form in football is really irrelevant when health is on the line. But can you imagine a man that's injured? I don't know, a player might not have a partner, he might not have no kids, he's got no roommate, he might be injured, he's stuck in his flat by himself, he's stuck to do his training thing himself. I don't know, are the players going on Zoom or house party or Skype or FaceTime or something, and they're all doing their little push-ups together or all doing something together, keeping everyone G'd up? Because if I'm Callum Chambers, I would love to have a little FaceTime meeting, obviously not with all the other injured players, because no one wants to be injured, but with someone, and everyone keep your spirits up. So we need to look after people, and that goes for society as well, people. It's lovely to see you setting homework, because I'm sure none of these, they're professional athletes. If you don't do the things that are set of you, and you don't do what's required, it's only you who's going to be in problems, because you're going to come back off a level physically. You're not going to play football or whatever, and you will know in your heart that you messed up. And why would you want to do that to yourself and to a manager that's defended a lot of you so far? It wouldn't make sense. Moving away from that though, because we spent a very long time, he was pressed on. So much has happened. But did you have those 4 months of data and analytics to work with? So as well as sharing that homework with players, what have you been able to work with? Obviously, he's been in charge for 4 months, and there's 4 months of things to review, I guess. He said, first of all, it's a great opportunity for me to get to know the people there. And I was talking before about the senior people at the club, but as well my own coaching staff, the people that are related on a daily basis, and then the communication with the players. Now I'm at home, they're not sitting next to me. We can have open conversations in a different way. And I think that over a worldwide situation, it's affecting them and making them feel more human and vulnerable, of course, because they're seeing it. Obviously, they're known, and most of them have come from the mud, so they know what it is. But unless you're a proper exclusive part of people, and footballers are rich, but they're not part of that, 1%, like that secret society thing, it don't matter if you've got £1 million or £1 in your account. If there's nothing on the shelves, or things are, you can't go here or do this or do that, you're gonna feel it. And it's a time for not just footballers, everyone, to really think about being a better person and really think about themselves, and use this time obviously to do that stuff, but try and better yourself in something, people. Very rarely in our lifetimes, or in my 25 years, I doubt I'm going to have times like this again, really, where you've got so much time to sit on your hands. I'm working from home, so I don't, but you get the point. They can feel relaxed talking about anything that we have to do, so I'm taking that opportunity as well to share different conversations with them that, in my opinion, have been really useful. And obviously, he might get different things out of different players, because you're not a coach and you're not a player. Well, you still are, but you're in a more relaxed environment. You're seeing what a man's home is. You see, you're both FaceTime each other on home. You're seeing each other in a more relaxed and different domain. Different, but similar to obviously when we went to Dubai. It's a chance to bond with the players in a bit of a different setting. Versus just not, obviously still play a coach, but those of you who watch me long enough and are just competent enough, you know where I'm getting at. So let's not waste any more time on that. One of the pretty universal problems, whether you're a fan, a head coach, or a player, has been filling that time when you're not at home, when you're not working at home. What have you been doing with all that downtime? Well, yeah, he's got kids, so he ain't got no downtime. But he said, well, I have 3 kids with a lot of energy. They are 10, 7 and 4. So you can imagine. I'm a very positive person, and I try to take the moment to say, okay, what can we take from this? What's the lesson here? What's the opportunity here for us? What's the opportunity for us, sorry. For 17 years, I haven't had the opportunity to wake up with my kids and spend a lot of time, dedicate my time and listen to them. Which sadly, is a byproduct of you know, being ambitious, being on the go and stuff, and that's the only things that matter really. He can win all the trophies he wants in his career and stuff, but it's not going to be much if, you know, his kids are not proud of him or things like that. And as a footballer slash ex-footballer, you can imagine he's missed a lot of them, you know, a lot of, like, I was speaking with someone from the media the other day, a lot of the moments, the first this, the first that, the first time, you know, I was speaking to someone in the media because of how they work in football. They missed the first time their kid walked, said their name, all of these things. And it is what it is, because you're trying to put money on the table, but this is the price they pay. And, you know, even with me, with this the little deluded stuff and the other things I do in my life, it costs you a lot of your purse. I ain't got no kids, obviously, people. Any galley, you know, I'm a bit too young for that, but, you know, hit me up, Brandons. But on a serious note, you lose time with your loved ones, you lose times for the finer things. So I can only imagine being a footballer, and no disrespect to his kids or his family is more important, but there's a million eyes watching this football club, a million man looking at what, and women looking what Arteta's doing. Doesn't necessarily have time to sit down and listen to what cereal he or she likes in the morning to get. So that time to ramp with your kids, to throw them up in the air, to mess about and stuff, these are the things that really only matter in life, people. You know, and he's also, I'm not even going to continue more of he said, but he's gone along that, people, and said he's got more time to spend with his woman, obviously, and his kids, and do stuff like that and help them with their homework and just general life stuff, which obviously I don't want to say anyone's happy about this, because they're not, because of the circumstances that this came from. But, you know, there's a silver lining in this. As Arteta said, what can he gain from this, or whatever he said about opportunity. So we'll see, people. Moving on, he said, he was pressed on how the club is actually operating. He said, oh, sorry, people, nah, this is the same thing. I think I double copied and pasted. Yeah, I did double copy and paste, people. I think we're done out here. But yeah, like I said to you, on a serious note, first and foremost, we're happy that Arteta and the rest of the playing staff and the players and the rest of everybody are in, you know, good spirits. Everybody's got their health, and Arsenal reacted quite well and quite quickly to this problem. And I'd say the benefit is from this, the one benefit, if this ever arises again, procedures we can streamline, not just Arsenal, but as society and as a league, Premier League and clubs and all these things. How can we do things better? Because if we was to scrutinise football to other sports, we were very late to react to stuff. Ogbono of West Ham and Wayne Rooney have been very vocal on that. Very, very slow to react. And ironically, it was only when Arteta, for me anyways as a fan, when Arteta was positive, that's when you saw, alright, yellow line, Premier Leagues are meeting and something's going to happen about this thing now. That's what I saw anyways. But like I said, first and foremost, proud that he's made a good recovery, happy that his family are safe, happy that the same can be said for the players and the coaching staff. Anyone that's going through it, obviously we're sending peace and love, and hopefully nothing more serious of a very serious situation becomes anything, and fingers and toes and everything crossed. But yeah, and also everybody out there, like I said at the start, I hope you're still in good health and I hope you maintain that good health. But in relation to Arteta, happy birthday once again, but I've got nothing more to add. Nice that he's able to speak again, but is what it is. Don't know when the Premier League will be back, folks. No one does, but I'll be here to make videos regardless. So check out the rest of the content. Vote for me for the Football Content Awards. We've got to the 31st of March, people. Links are in the description. And thank you very much for the ones that have voted so far. On that note, though, people, God bless. DG, I'm out.